This episode of This Agile Life has been brought to you by BrilliantAgile.com, providing Agile and Scrum training, consultancy, and personnel.
BrilliantAgile.com. Done right, it's brilliant.
This Agile Life, direct from Agile 2015 in Washington, D.C. Sunday, August 2nd, 2015. Don't leave your children unattended on the balcony.
The software industry transforms more and more every day. Agile methods are quickly replacing traditional ones. The question is, are you agile enough? This podcast is devoted to agile and lean software development. Time to welcome your agile coaches on This Agile Life.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to a very special edition of This Agile Life, live from DC at Agile 2015. Today, it's a fairly reduced group, but we're hoping to get more and more people invited as they start trickling in and making their way to the conference area. So, whoever else is here, would you like to introduce yourself?
Well, my name is Jason Tice, but what's your name? You never said what your name was.
Everybody knows who I am now, right? I'm a big deal on the interwebs.
No, are you Renee Troughton from the Agile Revolution?
I'm the other Australian.
And who is
Natalie Simonson.
So yes, this is Natalie and Jason, and we are here with a special edition of This Agile Life from Agile 2015. It is Sunday evening, the 2nd of August, 2015, and Natalie and I were the early crew that got here from This Agile Life, and we thought we would have a conversation about some things that have occurred thus far, and maybe even give you some picks for what we're thinking about tomorrow. And in advance, big thanks to Mr. John Sextro, who is going to take our content and make it available very quickly for all of our listeners, so they can download it and hopefully listen to it in the morning as they get ready for the first day of the conference.
Yeah, so you will be hearing blow-by-blow descriptions of what is going on a daily basis, which is kind of new for us, and it's going to be. I think it's going to be very exciting. Unfortunately, like I said earlier, we've got a couple of people down already. It proved to be an exhausting day, so some people have already gone night-night, or maybe had a couple too many drinks. I don't know. Who am I to judge?
Well, I want to say thank you to Luke Coleman and Laura and the group from Centennia. We had a great dinner this evening to kind of talk about, really celebrate that Luke's doing the keynote tomorrow. And thank you to Centennia for the hospitality and organizing the gathering. And I don't know, I had a steak and I'm awake. So I don't know what this is.
I had fish and chips, but it's never as good as fish and chips.
Fish and chips, okay.
We went to the Irish pub.
Did they fish out of the river right here?
No.
So see, if I misbehave on this episode, I think Natalie's going to throw me off the balcony here. I'm going to end up in the river.
Yes. So. Never to be seen or heard from again.
All right. So what we got here, Natalie? I mean, you...
So for what I thought I would go over is what I'm planning on attending tomorrow, and definitely intend on giving the listeners some feedback on the sessions that I attended. Unfortunately, I didn't get time here for really to be part of the little reception and registration and orientation. So I haven't had as much sort of true Agile 2015 time. So mine is more of a look forward to what I'll be doing tomorrow.
Well, and one thing I just want to mention, if you are a first timer out there, because I see it looks like you went on the app and you picked sessions.
Yes.
Now, you don't have to do that. And Natalie would wrap me out because I'm looking at the website here because I never pick sessions. So all of the sessions at the conference are first come, first served.
Yes.
So if you do sign up in advance, that does not mean you are guaranteed to get in. So if you're really concerned, get there early. And you'll see that the website and also the app, it will say if a session's popular, which is kind of a warning that it might be really crowded. So that's a cue to get there early. So,
yes.
But if you're like me and you didn't sign up, don't worry about it. Just show up.
There were some communications that went out to that effect, that while you're registering on an app, doesn't guarantee you a spot. But so I've actually, in some time slots, picked a couple of sessions that I'm really interested in, so that I can do a runner to another place if I can't get a seat in another one. So
okay, so what you got in the morning? Tell me.
So tomorrow, so obviously I need to do the sort of orientation and all that kind of stuff, and get my swag, because apparently there is a boatload of swag this year.
I haven't even gone. I got that bag. Maybe tomorrow we'll go through. I'll keep my bag of it. We'll go through it tomorrow
Yes,
live. That'd be fun.
and we'll review our swag tomorrow.
Yeah. Oh, and the other one we're going to do. That's what we're going to take the version 1 survey for next year as a group.
I did pick my version 1 name tag. That was my first choice. It was between Rally and version 1. And
we love version 1 here at this Agile Life. So, all right. So, Session, what do you got?
So tomorrow, of course, I have to attend this. I think it's mandatory for me. Introduction to Agile, the Genesis with Jim Newkirk. So I feel compelled to attend that. And I've heard Jim speak before, and I really do enjoy his approach. Then mentoring versus coaching. Show me the difference.
So that's Lisa. I saw Lisa tonight. Yeah, she crashed our dinner with Luke Holman, but she's always welcome. So
my follow up, it's like my backup, was Games Gone Wild with William Krebs.
Okay.
And then later in the day, I love Dan Pink's Drive, and so I will be attending that one. I'm going to make sure I get there early for a drive. How we use Daniel Pink's work to create happier, more motivated workplace. Because I like happy people and working with happy people.
Okay. So first and foremost, a couple things then that I have on my schedule different from yours. So even though it is pretty late at night, and again, thank you, Natalie, I think Natalie drank some coffee so she wouldn't fall asleep, as I was drinking red wine with Luke and the innovation guys, so I stayed up. You got to get up and go to Lean Coffee. 7:30. It'll be worth waking up for. So
I've already had my coffee. What are you talking about?
You just stay up all night then. So, but listen, if you put it on your bucket list, go to Lean Coffee at least one day that you're here, because it's really cool. And I have absolutely no idea where it is. It'll be on Twitter. So follow, look up the Agile 2015 hashtag. We'll say where we're meeting, but probably somewhere in the venue here. And about 7:30. So check that out. So I'll be down there at 7:30. Of course, tomorrow is the kickoff. Luke Holman is doing a real cool keynote to get things started after Paul Hammond, who was the conference chair, after he welcomes us. But Luke's going to talk about really things, how do we scale collaboration? And even like at dinner tonight, we were talking about, this scenario where you've got 40 teams and how when you can see the data from the retrospectives of 40 teams, you can start to see those common impediments. And really, that's how you drive enterprise level improvement. So he's going to talk about that, and he's also going to talk about some of the things that his not-for-profit, which is called that's the Every Voice Engaged Foundation. He'll talk about some of the cool stuff that they're doing to help improve the world. So it'll be a cool keynote. Yeah. So some conferences, we all know, I'll say it. Guess what? Some conferences, keynotes suck. Not here this year. They got 3 great keynotes. So Luke's will be a great way to get things started. 10:45 on Monday, I have decided to go Christopher Avery's conversation about 3 keys to self-direction and leadership. That sounds interesting. So I've learned about the leadership gift from Chris Avery. I'm curious to see how this is different, so I was going to check that out. Then I got to look at my notes here. Natalie was a lot more organized. See, I'm using the website here, so I'm not as organized.
Don't make me change my picks by talking up something else.
Oh, really? What was I going for here? What was this one? Oh, yeah, this one. I thought this was fascinating. So at 2 o'clock on Monday, the customer can be right. And the reason I'm interested, it's something that's really cool that I've been doing and my organization's given me permission to do. We're actually having open space meetings for sales. Like to meet with our clients, like in a pre-sale scenario, and guess what? They are working. So I'm curious to see because I'm interested in ways again we can work better with our customers. And then this shouldn't come as a surprise to anybody that listens to the podcast. Later in the afternoon, there's a session that I appreciate, and I wish we had a few other folks here. It's the metrics session. Metrics, a prisoner or a road to freedom.
A prison or a road. Just helping you out here. That was a tough choice because the drive discussion is on the same end.
Really?
And I'm like, I was going back and forward between those two.
Well, that's good. We can talk about it because that's where I'm curious to see. Sometimes people say like if you've seen that, there's like a 15-minute video of Drive online, and if you've seen that, it's like reading the book. So I'm curious to hear if they pull out different things that are in the book. So so that's my day, and then of course there's a party tomorrow night. It's what they call the Icebreaker in the Expo Hall. And I think a bunch of us from St. Louis, I'm going to attempt to organize a get-together. So we will figure that out watch Twitter. So if you're from, and if you're not from St. Louis and you just want to come hang with myself and Natalie and a bunch of people from a big city that has an arch in it, big arch.
That's all we've got.
Yeah, and I think Brian Bunn will probably join us. So he's from St. Louis. He was the technical program chair. So come check us out. Look for Twitter there. So that should be fun. So what else you got? Other than you want to go to bed, probably.
No. Oh, the other one was that I did have, which is a bit later in the day. Stakeholder perceptions of the adoption of continuous integration, a case study. And that's Maria, and I don't want to crucify her second name.
Oh, I see that. Wow. Oh, that's like, what is that one? That's in a weirdly weird time slot. I'm just looking.
It's like only 30 minutes.
Okay, so that's an experience report, it looks like. What is this? Wow, it's a research. Oh, it's the research track. Okay, so that's one of the short tracks. It's like experience reports where it's a 30-minute talk, and then they also typically write and publish a paper. So I don't even see that.
Yeah. Huh. So that was one of the things that I found helpful in trying to reduce my the plethora of things to pick from. Was with the app and online, you can filter by particular tracks. So if you know that there's a certain area that you can that you want to focus on, you can sort of reduce the noise, which is always a good thing to do when doing any kind of work, right?
No, I like to maintain a big picture view, which is why I'm scrolling here in the web browser. So, but a couple other cool things, again, if you don't want to go to the sessions, a couple cool things going on tomorrow. So first and foremost, check out a Stalwart session. Tomorrow they got some great ones. Stalwarts is like a way to sit down. I want to almost call it like a fireside chat. So kind of like Natalie and I are talking here. Imagine you've got like one of the ones they have Ron Jeffries and Chet Hendrickson. They're gonna basically be up on stage, and it's like a question and answer session, like a press conference. And so if you ever, let's say, you want to ask Ron Jeffries a question, this is your opportunity to do that. So check that out. They've got, and again, tomorrow they got lives. They got in the morning, they've got Ron Jeffries and Chet. After lunch, they've got Linda Rising, so she's going to do one.
I saw that Ron Jeffries had a question for you guys about why his book wasn't at the bookstore.
I have no idea there. Sorry. I
tweeted about it.
I did the help track. I didn't do the bookstore. Okay. Now, if this was the Agile Games Conference, I would know who to talk to there, but I do not know. And then Jeff Sutherland, so the Stalwarts track this year is really cool. So again, if you've ever wanted to, if you're a new person and I will tell you that everyone who is very well known in Agile is open to feedback and questions. So number one, you can go to Stalwarts and ask a question. Yep. But number two, if you see the person out in like the concourse of the hallway, we're all pretty conversant. So feel free to have a dialogue. So anyways, so
I think that's good. I think that's one of the things I'm really looking forward to is many of the people that I've read and heard about are actually here. So and I'm not afraid. I'll go up and introduce myself and say hey.
Yeah, and she might even hear it herself, but I've said that this week we are going to try to get Natalie to sit down with Renee, who we've previously had on, because then we'll have the two Australians on, and I don't think I'll be able to tell you guys apart. So you guys can.
So she still lives there, though, right? And so she's got a much stronger accent than mine. So
yeah. Oh, and hey, I got a bonus pick too, because again, my notes here. Look at my notes. Aren't they neat?
Yeah, I can't.
We should have done video tonight. We're gonna do video tomorrow night. Because I had two sessions also it's the last session on Monday. There was the metrics session that of course I love. But then Chris Sims, he did this thing over the weekend at a coach camp here that I really missed. It was all about how people measure the cost of like Agile development. But I missed it. So I'm like, I have a Chris Sims craving. So he's doing a session on Monday, which I love. Again, another thing we've talked about a lot on the podcast here. Your user stories are too big.
I saw that one too.
Yeah, because again, and I know, Amos wants every user story to be like 2 hours long. So I'm torn at that. So I guarantee you I'm going to be changing what I'm doing. So
I think so too. I think that as the day goes on and you hear, but they're going to talk about this, and I'm sure I'm going to change my mind. So we'll report back tomorrow on just exactly what we did attend, and give a little bit of feedback about those sessions.
Well, and if you're a first timer too, and you've never been in the Agile conference, and you've never been to an open space, we have the thing in the open space community. It's called the Law of 2 Feet, and Agile 2015 is not an open space conference. There is an open space component called Open Jam where you can kind of just meet up and say, hey, let's go over there and talk about this, or we should say, let's go meet and do a podcast.
Yes.
We might do that later in the week, but what the law of 2 feet is. It says, if you're in a session and, it just changes or you don't like it after you go into it, don't be afraid to stand up and walk out the door and go someplace else. That's that rule is totally in effect. So
just as long as it's not Tice's session on Friday morning.
Well, that's another story. So I'm sure we'll have a lot more jokes before that even comes up. So anyway, any else to say, Natalie, like from...
No, thankfully there is a Starbucks located in my right by my room, so I'll be able to get some juiced up tomorrow morning to get going. But no, like you said earlier, I'm probably ready for bed.
You're ready for bed, so I got it. Well, it's funny because I could talk. It's funny. I went to the coach camp this weekend. They had it before the conference. Just a couple things from that I thought I'd hit. So these are things to look up, and or you could follow. It's hashtag ACCUS was the hashtag from the coach camp. So a couple of things that I just learned at it, really cool. Invitation, and we've talked about this before. It's like this idea of that in Agile, we shouldn't be mandating Agile practice. We should be inviting people to learn and improve as coaches, and so they really emphasized that. It was really cool. Lots of conversations about that.
Right, and I think so much of that comes back to helping people understand the value. Then it's easier for them to make the choice to, you're probably pushing a practice that is going to benefit them, but by showing them how what the value is, it's their choice to actually adopt it or not.
Yeah. Also at Coach Camp, from the Midwest, Derek Wade, he's a guy from Chicago. He did some crazy stuff. He did a session for the coaches there where we could just rant and vent. He called it "Let Your Stuff Out," only he didn't use the word stuff. He used the dirty word, which I don't like to say because I have kids. But it was awesome.
I can say it for you, Tice, if you need me to.
Yeah, we do. We all know that, Natalie. Yeah. So what was it called, Natalie? Natalie figured it out.
Get your shit out.
Yes, it was called get your nasty stuff out. I got to tell a story that a few people may know from this Agile life where I got really frustrated earlier in 2015. I went in the backyard and I cut down a tree because of some stuff. So, and I need to cut down. But anyways, it was fun. And lastly, we did a fun workshop there about movement, like ways to be more active and like move around, how it helps you. So it was, again, Coach Camp it was an open space. It was day and a half. It was really cool. Big shout out to the committee, in particular Paul Booz and Andrea Cho, who organized the whole thing with a lot of help from other people here that I got to find my notes who they were, but really cool. So again, and I heard there's going to be an Agile Coach Camp like on the West Coast in early 2016.
Really? And who's organizing those?
It's so there's a website, and I want to do one like in the Midwest. Yeah, so I'm working on that. Not ready to announce it yet, but potentially want to try to do one in the Midwest sometime late 2015, early 2016 So, and guess what?
Great.
Everybody shows up. It's an open space, so it's not like you have to submit. Everyone who's like all of my people I know, I hope would maybe think about investing time, and they would. We'd all be there, so because we all live there. So that's a cool thing. So that was a cool weekend. So again, check that out on Twitter because lots of great stuff. And there's a Agile library site set up with the proceedings if you want some new ideas in addition to all the stuff that's going to come out of Agile 2015 this week. So
very good.
So you got any other picks, appreciations?
I appreciate my colleagues Rose and Ben for coming out with me, and you'll probably be hearing from them in the coming week. I did want to let Jason know that after they were introduced to Jason and you left, they go, he's exactly like he is on the podcast. He's just so bouncy.
I will share, I learned a few techniques at the coach camp where I am working on my listening. So I'm going to listen better. And tell better. Listen to other people tell stories before I start talking.
So that's some good feedback.
You're validating that I need to work on that, Natalie. Thank you.
No, you were exactly like
I got this balcony here. I can just jump 16 stories. It's done. Boom.
If you don't jump, I'll push you.
What's the sign? Please do not leave children unattended on the balcony. Perfect. I'm going out there. Okay.
You could do a Michael Jackson and hold the baby over there on the balcony.
Well, I got two appreciations just to pass on here. So first and foremost, we did have our conference planning retrospective today, facilitated by Diana Larson. She did an awesome job, and of course, she wrote the book with Esther about Agile retrospectives. But we did reflect. So thank you, Diana, for helping us. Really, all of us who did work long before the conference started to figure out how we were going to collect presentations, elicit feedback, provide, coaching, and then ultimately pick a program. Thank you for helping us kind of understand that and really make some of our learnings transparent. So the other one that I want to do is, I guess myself this year and Eric Willicke from, we were the chairs of what was called the Help Track, which was an experiment in kind of changing the way that you submitted to the conference. And that in and of itself is a whole podcast, but I just want to thank everyone who, went through that process, and, we learned a lot from it. So some things went well, some things we identified in the retrospective today could have been improved. And so Bob Sarney and the folks, really Bob Sarney's talking to Paul Hammond, who's the conference. Bob Sarney's the chair next year, talking to Paul Hammond, who's the chair of the conference this year. So, they're talking about notes. So obviously your feedback that I know I heard as a track chair has been put forward, and obviously we're looking to improve. So I want to thank everyone for supporting the experiment this year, and thank you for those that shared feedback with me about what it was like to be a coach and or be a submitter who was being coached. So we hope to move forward there and improve that for future Agile conferences. So
very good.
But I think that's about it. So
I've got a question. So what technique was used for the retrospective? Was there any particular?
Oh, wow. Open up Pandora's box there. Boy, I thought we were, how long hey, John, we're going to be up all night tonight here. So, it's Esther. Esther followed, Diana. Esther was there also. So they were both there. Pretty much followed the standard 5 stages. We kind of had a welcoming. We did an activity where we kind of used single words or short phrases to make sure we were focused and get engaged. We then made a timeline, which actually had, I'll share this, and I'm pretty sure there's probably some pictures on Twitter somewhere. We made a timeline of all the things we did to plan from basically the end of last year's conference, Agile 2014, in July through today, August. And what was interesting is there was a big spike of activity really I want to say from about November of 2014, really through March of 2015, which is when most of the submission activity was going on. And we used colored sticky notes to basically say what types of things were on this timeline. This experiment with this help track that, again, myself and Eric Willicke were the track chairs of. If you had a comment about that, you used a purple sticky. And if you see the pictures of this wall that we made, there was a lot of purple on it. Okay. So again, lots of feedback about the experiment from everyone who was involved. So we did that to get information. We then talked about things that were really great. It was a winners and losers, or things that we were. And so it was a way to kind of channel out. We have the timeline. We looked at it. We paired up with people, and we said what was one thing or a few things that were really good, and a few things that were really bad. And then at the end, we changed pairs, and we basically came up. Diana challenged us to come up with like 1 or 2 actions that we would actually recommend really for Bob Sarney, who's going to be the chair for next year's conference, to think about. And at that point, Bob will take that and to kind of decide what to do. So we didn't officially make any decisions about changes, but we did go through that whole, the traditional 5-step retrospective process that's in the Agile Retrospectives book. So that was what we did. It was
very cool.
Really cool. So we had popcorn and fun stuff too. So
very nice.
And there were pipe cleaners there, and everyone made pipe cleaner sculptures just for fun. So again, a really neat retro. So
okay, so I think that's about it. We've actually talked a little bit longer than I thought we would.
You thought we would. We talked for about 20 minutes. So we're hoping that you listen to this. Maybe you go to the gym and work out. I think there's a gym here. It's probably really crowded. So listen to this at a gym and check it out. And again, big thanks to John, who's going to edit this, post it out there, tweet it out there probably about midnight. And thanks, John. And we'll sync up with you tomorrow. I think we're going to have Matt Correll join us tomorrow.
Yes,
and
Matt will be here.
A couple other random people that we've seen.
Just not random people off the street. That is actually random people that are attending the conference.
Yeah, we got people who want to talk to you about their strange brew of ways to scale Agile. So
okay.
Yeah, so so we should stop ranting and let everyone, including us, get some sleep, and
because we've got to be up at 7:30 for
Lean Coffee. Yeah. Well, so I guess that's all for tonight. And what should we say, Natalie?
Thank you very much, and we'll be talking to you tomorrow.
And we'll keep living this Agile life.
That's it.
This Agile Life is brought to you by a community of Agile developers and coaches aspiring to spread the word about this groundbreaking approach to software development. Join us at thisagilelife.com/community.